Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rotoworld Football Show. I am Patrick Daugherty, joined by Denny Carter and Kyle Dvorchak. It's a busy news week out in the real world. Here in the football world, though, not a ton going on. We are between mini camp and training camp, one of the only NFL news dead zones on the entire 12-month calendar. So we thought it'd be a perfect time to do our second off-season best ball draft. I drafted last month. We think we have a $2 million winner on our hands with the team that I picked in late May. But today we're going to give Denny Carter a chance to stack another $2 million on top of my $2 million. And he's going to be drafting, and Kyle Dvorchak and I are going to be advising him. And Denny, I think maybe you could join the draft right now. But as we wait for the $4 puppy or whatever it's called, the Yappy.
The Chihuahua, man. Come on. Get it right.
Denny, what's the name of your dog's breed? You've got a real fancy kind of dog.
Yeah, my dog's breed is called the Cotton de Toulier.
The Cotton de Toulier.
So, underdog, if you're listening, I need a Cotton de Toulier contest.
Well, we're waiting for the Yappy to fill. Denny, I think you should enter it now. You were saying before the show, amongst many other things you were saying, that you were moved by some words that Aaron Rodgers spoke this week, and you just wanted to speak to our audience about some of the words he had to say about words.
Yeah, he's an insightful guy. I think Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't get credit for that, especially from me, who, among Jets fans, I'm known as a Rodgers hater. We have Rodgers said this week, words are so interesting. They have such power in their spells. There's a reason it's called spelling, because the way that the letters are put together have such power. That's a real quote, folks.
Hey, Pat, the quote's over. Wake up.
And the draft has started, and Aaron Rodgers has once again blown no one's mind but his own.
I know. Apparently, Rodgers is going to this conference about psychedelic drugs or whatever as a speaker or something of that nature. And that would check out if everything he ever said didn't sound like he had just smoked weed for the first time. He's never it's always this surface level, cornball stuff. It's not someone who it sounds like has ever done psychedelics.
Every time Aaron Rodgers speaks, it sounds like this guy's worth $250 million. I don't know why he decides to live in a freshman year dorm and only take his ideas from the fellow freshman year dorm mates he has. But yeah, Denny, this draft is about to start. Final word on Aaron Rodgers before we get into your strategy and the underdog Yappy.
I mean, Aaron is an interesting man and the future president of the United States. So I don't want to say too much about him here.
Too soon. He was born in California. That's not a state. Justin Jefferson 1-1. Is that chalk, Kyle? So is J. Jeff going 1-1? We're not mixing it up with CMC or Jamar Chase.
You'll definitely get some Chase teams. For the most part, Chase. I could see people going CMC. I think there are 6 picks, and we got 107, which I like. There are 6 picks that I feel pretty good about. If not the 101 in that range, it's the top 4 receivers, Kelsey, who gives the best positional advantage possible, and CMC, who has the record for fantasy points in a season or whatever. And then I always like to gamble on one person stepping outside that top 6, and Denny has 7. So if we get one person, we catch him slipping, I like our spot.
Went JJ first surprised the draft at 2, Tyreek Hill ahead of Jamar Chase. Then Christian McCaffrey. Have you been seeing that anywhere, Kyle? Tyreek over Chase? I feel like I would not be doing that.
I would not do that, but their ADPs are back to back, so it's not surprising. And Tyreek Hill was on pace for 1,800 yards or something before Tua went down. So I get it. It's fine. I don't really think of the top 6 there is a bad pick in the first 6.
I just feel like Tyreek was at his absolute ceiling last year, Denny Carter, as we wait for you to come up in 2 picks.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with Kyle. I think a full season, 17 games with Tua under center for Miami. I think Tyreek is the probably number 1 overall.
Tua will never quote just play 17 games. Denny, you're on the clock at number 7.
All right, so Kelsey's here. Is this one of the guys you're talking about, Kyle?
He was the 6th guy, and I like when someone takes Eckler ahead of Kelsey. Eckler, not a bad pick, but wasn't particularly efficient rushing last year. Is getting older. I take Kelsey over him, so I'm glad someone.
You doing it, Denny?
No.
Oh, you're gonna time it. All right, there you go. Good. I would simply never take a tight end in the first round.
I took AJ Brown, folks, because I have small scale panic attacks when I don't get all the Eagles in these drafts.
You go,
so
Kyle.
prophetic that you tweeted out this link. Follow Denny Carter on Twitter. He tweets out all the links to our live shows. At 3 p.m., I will draft a best ball team on Twitch while ignoring advice from Rotofat and Kyle tweets here. I just talked about how much I love when one of my top 6. You don't have to take the players I like, but it was prophetic.
Denny, do we have any concern about the Eagles' passing attack not running as hot as it did last year? And they're just being like real deal target competition between Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, Dallas Goedert, maybe DeAndre Swift. Is the pie going to be as big again this year?
There are some stats out there. I think we have it in some blurbs. I may have included it in an article recently that show that the insanely positive game script that the Eagles had last year really suppressed their second half and particularly fourth quarter the passing numbers, passing output, because simply put, they just sat on the ball with huge double-digit leads. All right, I'm up here. So do I need to take Hurts here if I'm stacking?
I would wait and see if he makes it back to you. You have Jonathan Taylor at 18. Like, I'm not an early running backs guy typically, but we were taking him 101. I wasn't, but I was like 102 last year. Like, and what has changed? He got like,
didn't he 7 seconds?
7
seconds. Saquon,
all right, I'm blaming this one.
Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard on the cover of our magazine, and you passed him up at 18.
I'm blaming this on Kyle. I took Taylor. I was actually thinking of taking Devontae Smith and then hoping Hurts got back to me.
That was some real boomer propaganda from Kyle there.
Yeah. Tell me more about this.
Kyle, let me tell you more real quick about all we hear is the negative case for Jonathan Taylor. When, last year, quite literally, everything went wrong, including him spending the majority of the year playing through an ankle injury, including him spending the majority of the year playing in a non-functional offense. Up for debate how much more functional it will be under a rookie quarterback in Anthony Richardson, who's about as raw as it gets for a first-round pick. But we have Mr. Eagles man himself, Shane Steichen, calling the shots. JT bounced back to like elite status. Seems like it's just being wildly under-discussed as a potential 2023 outcome, does it not, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, we see these Shane Steichen even 2 years ago when in Philly, the team wasn't the powerhouse, the juggernaut we saw last year. They had one of the most valuable backfields in the league just because they run the ball a lot. They're a balanced team, and they run it really well. They've been, I believe, 5th and 8th or something like that in total expected fantasy points for the backfield in both of the Steichen years. Sure, like maybe that falls to like closer to league average if this offense really struggles, but like we saw them struggle last year, so it wouldn't be a departure from what we saw then. And even if they do struggle, we're getting one of the largest cuts of the pie in terms of a running back share of the offense and share of the backfield. So I'm like, he's young, hyper talented, can play on all 3 downs, clearly was maybe the best fantasy back heading into last year. And like injuries and bad luck kind of just happened. Like, I don't know. I definitely think I wouldn't be like saying you should take him as the 101 again this year. There's uncertainty, but we're so wide receiver hungry right now that you're getting truly elite, like game breaking type of running backs later in drafts.
Denny, you weren't adamantly opposed to it. If you're the one who clicked draft.
Right. No, I wasn't because I mean, Kyle's right. Like how often I don't see Taylor getting to 18, 19, 20 in these drafts very often. So, or ever, so I did take him. It was about 2 picks past his ADP, but a guy like Taylor never falls past his ADP. No. So I felt okay about. Now I just want to be clear, folks, from a zero RB zealot like myself, I will be drafting no more running backs in this entire draft. I just want everyone to. And
of course, you have just activated the termination clause in your NBC employment agreement by drafting.
It's Taylor or bust. If Taylor gets hurt this year, I won't have any more running backs. Okay,
no, you won't. Denny, you're almost up. We've started with AJ Brown and Jonathan Taylor. Who are you thinking in round 3?
Yeah.
Well, now you're on the clock.
Yeah, I am on the clock. So I think I'm going to go with Mark Andrews and try to stack him with.
Is Hurts gone?
Hurts was gone an hour and a half ago.
Yikes.
Yeah. So
Mark Andrews, who are you trying to stack Mark Andrews with, Denny? And you believe in Mark Andrews? Talk about we're expecting more passing volume in Baltimore, but way, way, way more target competition than Mark Andrews is used to.
Yeah, but I think that's okay. I think the target competition doesn't scare me that much, especially if we're going to see an increase in passing volume. I know that Andrews had like a 6-week span last year where he basically was not fantasy viable, which is pretty depressing for those of us who took him and had a pretty fun September and October with him. But I do think that the sting of that 6-week stretch is lingering into this offseason, into this summer, and is making him somewhat of a value at pick 30-ish, which is where I got him now.
Denny, I think you were right not going Kelsey to start, because the 2v2 of AJ Brown and Mark Andrews versus Kelsey, and the top receiver was like Calvin Ridley. Yeah. I think you're right. I think you made the right choice there.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I do. I love Kelsey. I would love Kelsey on every team, but like you have to take him. You have to take him so early in these drafts. Maybe that's not the case in like more casual redraft leagues. Maybe, but man, you have to really commit to Kelsey.
Speaking of taking early, you have to take Calvin Ridley so early, and he's played 5 games in 2 years and is 29 years old, and was already. He's never like an elite athlete. I mean, he's an elite athlete by normal human standards, but by NFL standards, he's like a technician, and he wins with like craft and finesse.
Yeah.
And just betting on that, and an offense where like the target tree was already so well established, I just feel like Calvin Ridley is screaming to be one of the year's biggest busts.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't find myself targeting him at all. By the way, I'm trying to stack here, because stacking is a good tournament strategy, and it's going to be a very large field in the Cotton de Toulier tournament. But I'm Kyle, Pat, help me out.
I don't know. Rich gone?
Like, no. I can't stack anybody here.
Well, you can stack. Well, I guess you can't really stack the Richardson with his running back.
Yeah.
They're like.
I mean, we'll get our opportunities though. Like we.
Denny is on the clock with AJ Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Mark Andrews to start. We'll let Kyle pick up in a second. Denny, who are you thinking?
I mean, I wanted to stack DJ Moore with Justin Fields or something, but I can't. I can't now.
Jerry, Judy, and Russ.
No, I'm just going to go.
You'll try. You can try and take DJ Moore and then get Fields and a bunch of picks later. Go for it. You're about to time out, though.
Justin Fields. Wow. I mean, Fields, too. I feel like
maybe there's someone I can. My idea is that I can stack somebody else with Fields later, maybe.
And just Fields, it's like you don't even need the full Jalen Hurts. Like, they're an elite passing offense now. You just need, like, they're the number 27 passing offense now instead of the number 32. And even that is a huge step forward, because there's just no way they're throttling off his legs at this point. And then if they just pass, so the Eagles reverted to almost like the league mean for passing. We just need the Bears to like be in the bottom quadrant and not bottom, I feel like, Kyle. Or am I being too optimistic? Would that not be enough?
No, I'm pretty sure he was like the QB5 in fantasy points per game last year. I mean, it shouldn't surprise you when he get over 1,000 rushing yards. He had like an absurd amount, like every week in DFS. You're like, he can't break off another 40-yard run. Then you check like, oh, he didn't break one off. He broke 2, in fact, this time. And so I mean, maybe. I mean, last year was dangerously close to the best rushing quarterback ever, like just statistically. And it, like, obviously fantasy scoring is not built to handle such destruction on the ground. So I think you're totally right that he's not being priced like at his ceiling. He's being priced as the best rushing quarterback who cannot throw the football. I think he's being priced at like middle to slightly below what his expectation is. So it's really hard to throw that few times. They had like one of the fewest team pass attempts in the past 20 years. So I actually think I find myself taking him more than I end up taking like Mahomes and Hurts or Allen.
So we're talking about stacking with Justin Fields, and yet Denny has the tight ends tab open, even though he already has Mark Andrews.
I was looking at Pitts. You know why? Because
he's a receiver.
He's good.
Because not because he's good. I don't care about if he's good. Because the Bears play the Falcons in Week 17. Folks.
Oh my God! Dude. I was going to say you've already got commenters. They're all telling us like every Week 17 game in the comments right now.
We're Week 17 stacking. We're getting Pitts. It's Pitts or death, and I'm choosing Pitts.
Are there flexes in this, or you're going to use 2 of your top 5 picks on a position where you only get 1 of their scores each week? Is that what I understand?
Pitt's ADP is nearly 70, and we're up at pick 55. So maybe we could try to look.
Oh yeah, no. I wasn't saying with the next pick. But.
Where's DJ Moore, Denny? Is he out there? Is he long gone?
I think he was taken in March.
He's long gone. Yep, man. You could stack Treylon Burks with Will Levis, Jordan Addison, or Kirk Cousins.
It's gross.
Deontay Johnson.
Michael Pittman's up here. I haven't drafted Denny. Never mind. I'm not going to try.
Denny will not draft Michael Pittman since his entire half of our magazine is Denny saying Michael Pittman will be cut during training.
Stop.
Denny's almost on the clock for his 5th pick. He is now AJ Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Mark Andrews, Justin Fields. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking I'm never going to take a running back. I just wanted everybody to be clear. I'm taking Chris Godwin, just pure uncut volume for Chris
Kyle
Godwin.
Trask stack. I like it.
All right. So just a bunch of like disgusting short targets for Chris Godwin, but just give it to me. Give me the PPR scam that Chris Godwin is going to be. I'm fine with it. So
who are we stacking Justin Fields with? I mean, is it Cole Kmet or bust? Is it Chase Claypool or bust?
I actually don't.
Equiminius St. Brown or bust?
No. It's Mooney.
Mooney. All right. I mean, Mooney
is a good big play threat.
Mooney does better in best ball still exist because Mooney is better in best ball.
He definitely is a better in best ball guy.
Yeah. What are some other Falcons I could stack?
We're almost out of because I think all the big name Falcons have gone. Tyler Algier. I like Tyler Algier. He was clearly good last year. He graded really well in rush yards over expected, PFF rushing grade. Like I think it was almost weird that they had got such a good hit out of Tyler Algier and still invest in the running back position.
It was weird.
I really doubt we see standalone value from him, but he could be a really strong contingent value guy. And it goes super late. He's priced as if that's the case.
But yeah, I mean Drake London and Pitts. But why are you stacking Falcons? You're taking Desmond.
They play Justin Fields. In
oh my God, the run back. All right, Jesus.
Well,
I shouldn't say that word on the podcast. By the way, my apologies.
I have no issue with. I have no interest, I should say, in Desmond Ridder here. I just want.
Well, I would hope not.
Yeah.
So would hope not.
Get
Algier out of the queue. He was just talking about that for like way later. You don't want to
I just have him just in case.
Unhighlight him.
I'm not going.
So we've got one of these folks. See, I have to highlight all the week 8 or week 17 guys just so I remember. Keep them on top of my mind, and hopefully my internet doesn't go out because then I will get autoed all.
Denny will never unhighlight Tyler Algier.
No, I absolutely won't. All right, I think I'm going to take Pitts.
So you can't get 2 tight end scores on a weekly basis, though, right?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, we have a flex. Yeah, you can.
Okay. Sorry for my total ignorance of the.
These guys are both their team's number 1 receivers. I'd imagine this is a pretty unique build too. Like if you get this team into the into the postseason, you're probably not running into a lot of other teams that look like this. Even though this could be a pretty easy advance rate team in that there could be one other team within our smaller league that actually gets good tight end play. It'd be the Travis Kelce team, obviously.
Yeah.
We can still get usable flex weeks out of these guys.
How many flex spots do you have? Just one?
Just one.
Man.
So 3 receivers and a tight end and a flex.
There you go.
And 2 running backs.
See, the thing about best ball is since there's really no point to it other than drafting, you don't even have to know what the positions are because you draft a team and then never ever think about it again.
That's right.
Not real fantasy.
Well, we'll think about it when we're getting sized up for our Ferrari.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying. I was trying to throw a bomb out there and see what you would say.
Listen, if I win this thing, I will buy. If we win this thing, I will buy the nicest Subaru Outback out there. You can bet on that.
And we look forward to the website you start with Patrick Crane if you win the Yappy. So we got AJ Brown, we got Jonathan Taylor, we've got Mark Andrews, we got Justin Fields, we got Chris Godwin, Kyle Pitts. Running back, I'm assuming is looking pretty dire, but we don't draft running backs because this is America, right?
That's no. I spent a 2nd round pick on Jonathan Taylor, so I'm done with the running back position. Thank you.
Well, not quite, but I do agree that like getting Jonathan Taylor, you really can, especially the way these sickos on Underdog are drafting their wide receivers. We can ignore running back for a long time, having like a true anchor running back at what I think is a value.
It says, wow, 2012, Adrian Peterson has still not been drafted, even though it's the 8th round. And,
it is really remarkable. Like the Underdog drafts, it's just an avalanche. I think I've just seen it described like that, a wide receiver avalanche, especially in the first like 5 rounds.
Yeah, no other positions matter. I'm starting to wonder if sometimes they should have drafts without wide receivers. So you're actually like forced to have like running back debates and tight end debates and quarterback debates. But in a vacuum, Denny, what are we thinking here? You've only got 2 receivers, you have 2 tight ends, a quarterback and a running back. What position off the top of your head are you thinking we're going to hit?
Let's see. I mean, I feel like I think I have to go receiver here.
You do. And
yeah, it's legally required.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison, Jahan Dotson, Gabe Davis, Brandon Cooks leading the ADP.
You know, our own Zach Kruger had a pretty good convincing argument for Brandon Cooks in the Dallas offense. It made me kind of see him differently as not just a guy. Oh, there he goes.
I was good. I wanted you to take Jordan Addison, so I win.
Yeah, you should take Jordan Addison.
Oh, I don't hate Jordan Addison. He seems like a fine young man. He seems like a fine
inside out action.
Take the fine young man. Why don't you like Jordan Addison?
It's just the production, the college production doesn't jump out at you as concerned.
Didn't he have like 1,600 yards as a true sophomore?
Yeah, rookie opposite in alpha.
But then what happened? He didn't do anything last year.
Up his knee or something.
It is kind of hard to be a rookie opposite in alpha. He did transfer. He followed the NIL money. And the way Eric Froton explained Jordan Addison's junior year or senior year at USC was just that he went from the focal point of an offense, like the one guy who schemed the ball at Pitt, to just part of like the crazy Lincoln Riley spread attack. And Caleb Williams being so talented, he didn't need to lock on to one receiver. And Jordan Addison, despite being good, kind of became a face in the crowd at USC. And Froton was rather convincing that it wasn't that big of a deal.
Really?
But,
okay.
Yeah, I'll say with Brandon Cooks, Zach makes a lot of good arguments, but every year I feel like we hear the same thing. Brandon Cooks is being underdrafted.
Yeah.
And I would say, oh, yeah, he ends up outperforming his ADP by 1 spot. Yay. Wow, amazing.
No.
He's being drafted as the wide receiver 23 and was the wide receiver 22. I'm so happy.
I know.
Yeah,
it's true. No. I mean, no, you're right about that. You've mentioned that, and that's absolutely the case. Like, I feel I get a sense of horrible FOMO every August because people are like, "Oh, Brandon Cooks, why is he being drafted here? He's going to be the you got to have him player," and he ends up, like you said, 1 or 2 spots above his ADP. I think that he could finish upwards of 3 spots ahead of his ADP this year.
Cooks is just the classic. What do you win when you win? And
not much usually. Not much.
Whereas, like, we're up on the clock, so we can take our pick here. I'm still on board for more receivers.
Yeah. So what do we have? We have pick. What is this?
Do we take the Ant-Man, Anthony Richardson? Do we take the Ant-Man?
No,
now?
I think we've spent enough on Fields that we can just keep going receiver here.
All right. Who? Oh shoot. This is
Michael Thomas, Sutton, Boyd, Juju, Lazard, Odell, Sky Moore. My God, 7 seconds, Denny.
7 seconds. Pick a guy, Denny.
Oh, he's struggling.
Oh my
God!
Bad.
Oh, he can't even get there. Oh no, you timed out.
No.
You timed out. And Darnell Mooney, overdraft, but at least a stack. And frankly,
we're drafting by 30 picks.
30 picks. But honestly, what is the difference? Is there? We're supposed to believe there's a difference between Darnell Mooney and Cortland Sutton and Juju Smith-Schuster and Alan Lazard. Like, let's get real.
Yeah,
like,
I think
not even saying this is a bit. Like, let's get real. If we think there's any difference between those players,
I think there's a difference.
There's no difference. There's because
I mean, I would take Mooney over Cortland Sutton straight up. So that does make me feel a little better.
You've got to get Tyler Algier out of this queue, by the way. Like, you absolutely have, because you just timed out. And it's only by the grace of God that you had Darnell Mooney ahead of Algier in the queue.
You know the problem that Pat outlined 8 minutes ago.
By
That happened.
it is God was looking out for you, Denny. Tyler Algier was not to get political, but God was looking out for you.
Thanks to the big man.
Shouts to the big man.
All right. Well, look, I think I need to start thinking about stacks here because I'm dying.
That's why you overdrafted Darnell Mooney by 30 spots because you're starting to stack.
Well, so wait, why is Antonio Gibson going ahead of Brian Robinson? That's something.
I agree with this. Gibson was just he's never really been a good runner. He just never made the transition from wide receiver to running back. And we finally saw him play well as a receiver out of the backfield last year. It was like top 10 in target share, yards per route run. It was good PFF receiving grade, but like he doesn't hit the home runs really. Like he grades poorly in breakaway run rate. Whereas like Brian Robinson wasn't great last year, but he was fine. And he really improved down the stretch. Obviously, like, you're looking at a small sample, so it's not the most predictive, but like I'm going to give him some slack coming off of like being shot.
Gibson is going ahead of Brian Robinson because I think the only role we know for sure in the Commanders' backfield is Gibson is now the third down back with no J.D. McKissick. And we're getting like weird smoke signals on Chris Rodriguez that this new coaching staff is just obsessed with Chris Rodriguez and like that he could maybe give Brian Robinson a run for his money on early downs. Brian Robinson did improve a little down the stretch last year, but he was just wildly inefficient all year. Eric Bieniemy seems like committed to a committee, and this is like in a confusing situation, you just have to like cling to roles. And I feel like we're confident Gibson's going to be the passing down back. I feel like we're not as confident that Brian Robinson's just going to be like set and forget on early downs. And now Denny is on the clock.
I am, and I'm gonna. So I want a Packers. I want a Packers stack eventually. Oh, Richardson is still there, guys.
The Ant-Man, take the Ant-Man. You might time out into Algier. You might time out into Algier.
I won't.
I swear to God, he's going to time out into
If you do. Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Okay. We timed out into Brian Robinson.
No, I didn't time out.
I did.
Every pick that he makes, I'm just be like, I can't believe you timed out.
I know. I can't believe you timed out into Brian Robinson.
All right. So my
I don't know.
Jim, I don't know. My plan here is to take Romeo Doubs next, and then get Jordan Love later.
Can you just do me a favor? Can you please drag Algier down to the bottom, please? Like, it's like actually causing me physical stress.
Right.
All right. Thank you.
I don't.
Interesting, Denny. You're going to take the Packers' third receiver before their second, Jaden Reed. I like that.
You really think Reed would be? I don't know, man. I think Reed's
so, especially from what we saw from Doubs last year. Like he was just kind of a route running guy. He didn't really like earn targets at a high clip. I don't know. And like the team, I don't think is that committed to him through his draft capital, whereas they spent more on Reed after seeing what Doubs did last year. So I like at cost Jaden Reed more. I'm not confident that he leapfrogs Doubs on the depth chart, but like if you squint, there's a really interesting profile to read. He was like a 30% dominator breakout as a true freshman at Western Michigan. Yeah. And then he had another 30% dominant rating at Michigan State. He was really hurt. Like I think what I read is that he fell on the sidelines like after making a catch and got cut by like the bench or something, and it screwed up his whole season.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Yikes.
So
that's a new one.
I'm sorry. I'm having trouble doing the back and forth with you guys today because I'm trying to favorite players as we go along. So I'm trying to set myself up so that I can get some sort of Packer stack. I've highlighted Luke Musgrave, the tight end, Jaden Reed, Love, Doubs. I'll see where they are when I come.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like Jordan Love's one quarter against the Eagles made such an impression on you last year. you became a true Jordan Love stan after that one quarter against.
I might actually throw out these plans here because it looks like Daniel Jones, unless I get sniped right here, it looks like Daniel Jones will be available, and I really like him at ADP.
So we're really going to take a second quarterback. I was going to say before a second running back, we did take Brian Robinson. We timed out.
Yeah, we timed out to Brian Robinson.
So I forgot that we got him, but
we didn't time out.
Kyle, is it time to take a second quarterback, or is Denny crazy?
I think that it'd be fine to push it farther, but like I find Daniel Jones to be a good value too, so it's fine with me.
I like stacking him with Slayton or maybe even Paris Campbell, who I know Pat doesn't even believe Paris Campbell is a real person.
No,
but
he's not. Do we really think more value is going to be extracted out of Daniel Jones? I feel like we witnessed the 1 percentile outcome for any Daniel Jones season last year.
Well, I hope not.
And that the Giants certainly hope not. But
I mean,
where is there more juice to be squeezed out of this Daniel Jones?
With Isaiah Hodgins not leading the team in targets, like that,
they love him though. They talk about him like he's good.
But Darren Waller is going to get on the field and be more open. He will be better
Jones,
at earning targets.
That's not his thing. He doesn't care about that. He doesn't care if you're open.
We have a commenter, Bandit Time, who says elder millennial psyop Paris Campbell.
The fantasy football bandit. He's a good Twitter fellow. We've met him in real life. He's a big fan. That's
funny. That is funny.
Yeah, I mean, like, where would you rank the Giants receivers last year in like week 17 amongst the league? Inside the top 28?
No. Bottom.
No.
30 to 31 to 32, somewhere in that
exactly
range.
And this year, including all pass catchers, because Darren Waller is just going to be, for all intents and purposes, their number one receiver, but just getting like guys who can be number 2, number 3 options, as opposed to like career special teamers, guys who had gotten cut earlier that year, like moving up to, Paris Campbell is a fine slot receiver, like he replaces Richie James, that type of stuff. Like,
I just feel like the league
gains that add up.
The league is going to adjust to whatever modest adjustments Brian Dable made. Even in a career year, Daniel Jones threw for 15 touchdowns, and he threw only 5 interceptions. I don't think he fumbled. There's just no way he's going to commit that few turnovers again. I think the entire Giants season is going to be different.
Dang, man. I got sniped on Jamal Williams by 1.
All right, you got to rally. You're on the clock. Tyler Algiers at the top of your queue. Please move him.
God,
too late to move him.
America.
You're looking at Achane. Achane is a week 17 stack with Mark Andrews.
Bang, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. I actually like the Achane pick, even though I feel like he could be a monumental bust. It's just there's so little talent in this backfield. They aggressively targeted him. He is 5'8". He could just not physically be ready, and he could be like a big training camp. Like one of those picks. Like the team took him. Like, seems smart.
Well,
on paper.
Yeah. So listen, I actually am kind of mentally prepared for Mike McDaniel, like in mid-August, to be like, well, Achane is not a running back. He's a weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
He's going to be used all over the place, meaning on the left side of the bench and the right side of the bench. Also on some kick returns.
Until he fumbles in week 2 on a very critical second half kick return when they're trying to erase a 14-point deficit.
Or
I'll say
go ahead.
I think I'll give McDaniel some credit for this, where we saw him like pretty consistently cycle through his running backs till he found the best guy. I mean, they paid Chase Edmonds like a 3-year, $12 million contract. He wasn't on the roster halfway through the season. Then Raheem Mostert wasn't enough, so they brought in Jeff Wilson, who was the most efficient runner of the bunch almost immediately. Like, he clearly didn't just play the guys because they were the highest paid or whatever. Like, he cycled through the talent, and I think if we have any read on Achane's talent, it's that he's pretty good.
Well, hold on. I was going to say, you don't want a meritocratic coach, though, if you're like investing real draft, like
I think when Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson are your competition, like, I'm fine being like, let's go Achane.
We've seen Kyle Shanahan tree, like, it really doesn't matter. And like, they almost look for reasons to bet against you and say they were wrong. So I kind of wish that he would play the worst players and just play Devon Achane no matter what. Denny's back on the clock.
All right, guys. I'm struggling between Rondale Moore and Gallup. What do we think?
Well, Rondale Moore is a week 17 stack baby. AJ Brown.
I say Gallup for sure. I think Gallup, we got a weird post-injury season. He's going to be far, far better. He's going to outpoint Brandon Cooks.
Oh, spicy.
I'm sorry. I'm going with the Zoomer here, Pat. I'm going with the Zoomer. I'm going with Rondale Moore.
Rondale Moore, even though Denny discriminates against short people in all of his spare time.
No.
Rondale Moore on the single worst offense in the entire league without
Wait
Kyler
a second.
Murray.
Wait a second. I only discriminate against short quarterbacks. And Rondale Moore does not play quarterback the last I checked.
Rondale Moore is the classic, like, is he good? ? In parentheses, no. That is Rondale Moore.
Just leave me alone.
That's why you don't take Rondale Moore.
That's one idea I've had throughout this whole thing is just leave me alone.
Real quick, so to recap, Denny so far has A.J. Brown, Jonathan Taylor, Mark Andrews, Justin Fields, Chris Godwin, Kyle Pitts, Jordan Addison, Darnell Mooney, Brian Robinson, Daniel Jones, Devon Achane, Rondale Moore. I believe that's 12 players. We have 6 left. You have 2 QBs, 3 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 2 tight ends.
And the tight ends are very good, folks.
They are very good. Real quick, before we get any more thoughts, download the Rotoworld app to receive breaking player news all season long. Stay ahead of the competition by favoriting players on your roster. Get the latest injury updates, player news, and much more delivered right to your phone. It is available in your app store today. And every season is draft season. Get your Rotoworld draft guide bundled today and dominate your football, baseball, and basketball drafts. It's packed with profiles, rankings, and projections. Order today and get all 3 Rotoworld draft guides for the price of 2. Plus, use promo code BARRY to save an extra 20% off at checkout. That is promo code BERRY to save 20% off at checkout. We're back. Denny is 1 pick away. What are we thinking, Mr. Craig?
First of all, thanks for letting me know that. And then secondly, I think I might go Jaden Reed here.
Is it time, Kyle, to go Jaden Reed? We're in the 13th round.
That's fine. It's only I guess it's 9 picks ahead of ADP. He is, as you would maybe know if you've been grinding, Week 17 sack Jordan Addison. Let's go.
Yikes.
Yes. There you go.
Yikes.
We're doing
I assume, though, I don't know if Jordan Love is here or not. I don't think we need another quarterback on this team. This is simply a minor correlation and a bet on talent. I think, like I said, Jaden Reed has a really interesting profile. Had he left after his 3rd season, it was 4 years in college because he transferred. But had he left after that 3rd season, he would have been a really interesting prospect. But his final season, it would have, I thought, really put the damper on his draft profile, let alone his analytics profile for spreadsheet nerds. But the Packers, it looks like they treated him like that last season didn't count. And if you don't count the last season, his profile looks pretty good.
I did ignore Jaden Reed in our dynasty draft the other day, and I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to live to regret that. I can't remember who I took instead of him, though. Right. I had the opportunity to take Jaden Reed. I did not. What were you thinking, Denny?
Well, all right. So
I took Tank Dell instead of Jaden Reed, by the way, with the 22nd pick. And then Jaden Reed went with pick 23 to the owner of this website, Josh Norris. Sorry, Denny.
And you only did that because his name is Tank.
Yes, I do literally have players named Tank and Deuce now on my dynasty team.
Oh, it would have been even funnier if you had Tank, and Deuce, because there are 2 tanks in the draft.
Sorry, Denny, you've been trying to say something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I may be interested-ish in, but Kenny Gainwell would be such a reach. Oh, man.
Would he? I don't think he's a reach.
He's 20 picks ahead of ADP. You can probably.
Is there someone? Is the person who's going to win the Yappy the person who adheres perfectly to ADP? We sure about that?
I will agree that we're at the point where we're 160 some players. I think ADP doesn't matter that much. It maybe matters to us more to get the guys we want to get, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
Gainwell is a steal right now. I really been coming around. Gainwell is going to be probably the lead back for the Eagles.
Yeah, I feel okay. I feel okay about Gainwell. I think here.
Oh, I mean, get Roshan here. He's a stack. He plays on the same field as Justin Fields.
I don't know. I'm just going to go Gainwell. It's just we're being safe where we are going with Gainwell. And I know the best ball dudes watching this are probably screaming into their pillows and or eating their pillows at this point.
Pat Carine has revoked your complimentary subscription to
he actually just knocked over my mailbox with a baseball bat.
No, he drove over it with his Hummer, which he now
I thought was a little much, but who am I to say?
Yeah, that was a lot, Pat. Pat is this. He's changed. He's just different now.
Taysom next up. I'm getting Taysom.
All right, that's all the time we have.
No, we don't need Taysom. We spent 2 of our first 6 picks on tight end. We do not need a 3rd.
No, but he's not a tight end.
He can only be put in the tight end slot. That's the thing. I know he's not a tight end.
I'm sorry. I've temporarily lost my mind. Okay.
All right, give me my pillow. I got to eat this thing.
Sorry. All right. So wait, I need a stack with Daniel Jones. I have to. Gotta
Define need.
I like desperately
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, define Daniel Jones, please.
So you guys are completely out on Daniel Jones.
No, I'm in. I just think it's funny.
You might as well just stack Paris. We all know Darius Slayton will just get hurt, and he'll be the best receiver on the team, and they just won't like him again. So, like, what's even the point?
Okay, Pat, you sound a little sad. How do we think this shakes out? Because we got Jalen Hyatt running with the third team or whatever in minicamp. We're a long ways
That's
away.
probably more of a message send than anything else, but it was interesting.
It's going to be weird when they keep sending that message again.
Yeah,
and again. Like that happens, right?
Yeah, 2024. I thought he would have gotten the message by now.
Like, who was I can't even remember his name. Who was like the Nevada receiver for the Cowboys last year that like, oh, he could fill some snaps. And as soon as they got him on the training camp field, instantly he disappeared.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember who that was.
He literally caught like 2 passes.
The Cowboys have a hyped UDFA every single year, and they do never do anything.
6th or 7th round pick. I'll pull it up.
Also, I'm somewhat. Pat and I talked about the Bengals backfield without Joe Mixon on Monday, Kyle. We both seemed interested at the time, at least in Chase Brown. Do you have any Chase Brown interest?
Yeah, he's fine. I think like they're talking up of like Travion Williams that we've seen. I'm not buying that. They've had 4 years to get this guy like a single.
Denny and I said the same thing.
Yeah, Chris Evans is like maybe a little bit of a better version of that same thing, though. You guys have had a long time, and like, in fact, they actually made first last year. They started out with Chris Evans as their 3rd string running back, playing special teams, Travion inactive. Then they switched it halfway through. I don't think they like either of these guys, so I actually would go Chase Brown among the 3.
Right. So here are my choices. I can take Chase Brown as my 5th running back, or I can stack Slayton with Jones. 1, 2, 3.
I would stack either Paris or take Chase Brown.
Yeah, I think I'll take Brown.
I'm fine.
What do you think, Kyle? I mean, 5 running backs. Are we canceled for that?
We're done taking running back though. I think we're receiver from here till the end of the draft. I mean, I think we're almost certainly that.
Yeah, I'm good with going off pure receiver from here.
There are some people who say Chase Brown is, quote, not even remotely good and is, quote, super old, but potential 3 down. I mean, he can play on all 3 downs. It's stretch maybe to call him a 3-down talent, but he can play on all 3 downs. And just the Denny and I talked about this on Monday. The Bengals are finally admitting that Joe Mixon might not be on the roster. I thought it was crazy that he had not gone this long, not only remaining on the roster, but with like no chatter whatsoever that his roster spot was in danger. Now there are reports out there that he's going to have to adjust his salary and that he could actually be gone. Chase Brown just seems like an absolutely perfect flyer to take at this point.
Yeah, the Cowboys guy for the people screaming at their cell phones, Jalen Tolbert, who caught like 2 passes, I think. And they spent capital on him. He's a 3rd round pick. But we knew almost instantly once he got on the field for training camp, they weren't seeing the progress they wanted out of him. And like, it's mini camp. Don't read into it too much, but we're getting kind of the same vibes from Jalen Hyatt.
So guys, Dez Bryant has a ADP of 215. Now, the last I heard from Dez is he's going to be at the Fantasy Football Expo in Ohio this August. Do I take him and hope that he dominates the fantasy football? I'm sorry, the flag football tournament there. I think this is the process. I think I need to take.
Remember, we are the flagship sponsor of this FF Expo too.
And he is apparently, I didn't know this till recently. This morning, really, Dez has requested me as his personal quarterback because he saw the footage from last year.
He knew that I needed to work back to the ball, and that even though you lofted it to nowhere, it was actually.
You jerk.
I didn't cut off my route. I needed to cut off my route, and I did. I kept running.
You just kept going as if I'm Josh Allen and I can just sail it over the entire.
Never stopped. I keep on running.
All right,
Denny's back on the clock.
So, hey, Slayton's there. We'll do that. But Puka Nacua is also there.
Why do you guys like Puka Nacua? really wasn't that good of a prospect.
You don't even know what's going to
I
happen.
will say, first off, it's Denny who's in the Nakua, but you know who likes prospects who weren't even good was Sean McVay.
Yeah.
No, you
Really,
say that
really
as if Cooper Kupp wasn't like one of the greatest all-time small school prospects to ever exist.
Well, he's spent his entire career chasing that high ever since.
He's been chasing the high, but like it hasn't been working.
He's gonna hit on it one of these days.
Kyle, you say I think we've talked about this, but you say that he's one of the greatest prospects. All I remember was mockery when the Rams took him wherever they took Kupp. I mean, it was just we all had a good laugh. Okay, he
was like 26 years old and he played on a red field. It was objectively funny.
The red field is so cool, by the way. Red field, of course, like you have to go see your eye doctor after watching games, but it is pretty cool. It was like he has like a bunch of like the records or the top 2 or 3s for most career receiving yards, receptions, touchdowns, like single season, and he started doing that as a freshman. Like obviously he played 4 years, so he leaves as an older prospect, but like it's literally one of the most productive seasons ever. And Nakua, on the other hand, was like, was he unproductive at like Washington and then finally kind of came on at BYU, if I remember correctly?
Yeah,
that's correct.
That's right.
Sounds like something.
Other than that, they're pretty.
Listen, I have a reason, Kyle. I have a reason to take Puka Nakua. The Rams play the Giants in Week 17. Yeah. It's a Week 17 stack.
Oh boy, Nakua. He's this generation's Ben Skowronek, and you cannot pass on that when that comes on the board.
You stop it right now. He is the second coming of Robert Woods in this offense, and I'm old enough to remember when we valued Robert Woods way over Cooper Kupp. Okay,
I bet Robert Woods is in the top of the queue, by the way, at receiver.
Not my queue.
No, dog. Ben Skowronek, not to just absolutely unload on someone for no reason. Every time he takes the field, would make like a game-changing mistake, and is one of the worst players I've seen play in the NFL in the past 3 or 4 years.
Jeez.
Sorry about that.
One of our loyal listeners, Ben Skowronek, boots up the end of the Rotoworld podcast. He's like, God, I just love listening to the show. It's just like guys hanging out. I feel like I'm friends with them. You know, I just listen to football. They chop it up. Oh, best ball draft. 45 minutes in, he's like, this is great. Like, I'm so wait. Oh my God.
And the ball is hit off Ben Skowronek's face mask yet again.
Guys, they took Puka from me.
So, the queue is empty. And you're on the clock. The queue is empty.
No, I don't even want to pick.
Tank Dell.
Take
Tank Dell.
I'm beside myself.
You have 16 seconds.
I don't want to take Tank Dell.
Chase Claypool for a double stack.
Oh yeah, take Chase, man. Come on, take him. Take him. You know, he's better than best ball. He invented the concept. Thank you.
I hate you guys. I hate that pick. This whole thing is. I didn't get Nakua. Why did I push it? Every time I push it in these drafts, I end up not getting my guy.
You know that Chase Claypool is actually trademarked with the U.S. Patent Offense better and best ball. So
he's not even going to be on the team. He's not. They're going to cut him.
Yeah, that's bad.
I'm not. No, and by the way, we have somebody in the chat called Purple Yoshi saying I should take Tutu Atwell. I will never quote take Tutu Atwell.
You actually should. Okay. Tutu,
no.
Finally, a McVay luxury pick that actually started producing last year in his second season.
I mean, didn't he have like 300 yards or something?
You're on this Tutu train? No.
Oh yeah. No. Purple Yoshi. First off, I go to him to all my fantasy advice. Purple Yoshi 810, who is like he is chopping it up with us right now.
Fine. You know what? I'm going to take Tutu, and if he does poorly, I'm coming for you, Purple Yoshi. I'm kidding.
Don't take Tutu, by the way.
I'm fine with Tutu. Like I mean,
I do actually think he's intriguing. I will be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like completely bury Puka Nakua like that with Ben Skowronek. Like, you know, 3rd-year breakout, 4th-year declare, not super high draft capital. He has like a lot of red flags to him, but he has some interesting stuff. Like he was a good rusher in his 2 years at BYU, really strong in yards per route run in those seasons at BYU. I think it's just, you know, you have to adjust kind of heavily for guys who produce late in their career as college players. So like, I'm not that into him. And for that reason, though, I should kind of de facto be in on either Van Jefferson or Tutu Atwell because they're going to play a ton of 3 wide.
Show us the receivers, Denny. You've got 20 seconds. Show us the receivers. You'll time out into Tutu, which is fine, but at least show us who else is available.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, who else is available? Okay, Josh Downs, Tank Dell,
Tim Patrick, Bob Woods,
Allen
Terrace
Robinson.
Marshall, Josh Palmer, Justin Ross, who might not make the team, Allen Robinson, who will retire. Yeah, just take Tutu.
All right. I'm good with that. I've come around in the last.
Weren't you ready to die over
Yeah,
this?
you were
like,
actually just ready. You were ready to retire.
Yeah, in the last 45 seconds, I've come around on Tutu Atwell. I've seen the error of my ways.
Guess
and
what? I'm on Tutu Atwell's Pro Football Reference, and as a 23-year-old second-year pro, he had 11 first downs.
Yeah, let's go.
Who's laughing now?
Let's go.
298 yards. He did average 17 yards per catch, and it did. So getting serious with Tutu Atwell, it did seem like once they actually started trying to involve him, he would make plays. It was like, wow, maybe if you use a second-round pick on a player, you should try to involve them and actually use them with what they're good at. And they did that, and he actually did begin to look like maybe someone who can at least become a role player in a good NFL offense, or he could be a healthy scratch this year.
Sorry.
I'll say it. Tutu also, I should have put some more respect on his name for having a good profile of production in college. In his second year, he had a 40% dominator, like an elite yards per team pass attempt, 1,200 total yards, 12 touchdowns. Like, that's pretty good. And in the year after that, he played fewer games. I'm going to guess maybe it wasn't hell. Oh, that was the COVID season, of course. But another season over a 30% dominator rating, which is a really important threshold to cross for receivers. So, like, sure, as a 213th pick in the draft, go for it.
What were you saying, Denny?
I have too many receivers, right? It's just way too many.
Well, what's your breakdown? Give us your breakdown.
Yeah. I have two quarterbacks, Fields and Jones. I have 5 running backs. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You can go to the top and it'll tell you actually.
I have 9 receivers and then 2 tight ends. I just feel like I don't think I've ever had 9 receivers in a best ball draft. Is that?
This is how I would have done it. Like, what were you going to do? Take another tight end? If they make the roster once, it is an utter failure of the current tight ends we have. Roughly the same can be said of quarterback. Like, really going to take a third quarterback to hope like, oh, well, those times Justin Fields and Daniel Jones aren't making the lineup. We're in a pretty bad spot if that's happening anyways. And we're a little bit lighter at draft capital spent on receiver because we got timed out into Darnell Mooney, 34 picks ahead of ADP.
Well, I was thinking I could have taken another running back. That's basically what my.
At least it was not Tyler Algier. Denny, read the folks your squad beginning at quarterback.
All right. I know you did. Please don't throw up in your mouth while I read this.
Just real quick and remember Darnell Mooney and Brian Robinson were auto drafts.
No. Only one of them were.
That's right. We took Darnell Mooney on purpose. We wanted him for the staff.
That's right. All right.
At quarterback, we have the dominant duo of Justin Fields and Daniel Jones. At running back, we have guys such as Jonathan Taylor, Brian Robinson, Devon Achane. Man, that's probably going to be a bad pick. Kenneth Gainwell and Chase Brown.
Real quick, don't get hurt, Jonathan Taylor.
Please,
continue.
Please, JT, if you're listening.
It's like, of course, even if we had 8 running backs on this team, if JT gets hurt, we're losing anyways because there's teams that didn't pick JT we're going up against.
Well, thankfully, he's never struggled with injuries. So, receiver, we have AJ Brown, Chris Godwin, Jordan Addison, Darnell Mooney, Rondell Moore, Jaden Reed.
How do we spend 9 picks on receiver? How do we spend 9 picks on receiver?
That Pat would just not make any noise after
I wouldn't make an involuntary sound after Rondell Moore. I'm sorry.
We spent 9 picks on the position, and Pat at the end of it, it's the one we've allocated the most capital to. He goes, this is not good. That is not
sorry, Denny.
All right. So anyway, Addison, Mooney, Moore, Jaden Reed, Darius Slayton, Chase Claypool.
I knew you'd make a sound after saying Claypool.
Tutu Atwell. I mean, there's a chance that the Bears would be like, no, we're good. Like we're a better team without you. So
probably not, but it is possible.
And then tight end, we have the very interesting duo of Kyle Pitts and Mark Andrews. So I have that going for me, which is nice.
We do. So I think we're weak. So we've got a lot of depth at receiver. I do think our second receiver spot is kind of weak in Chris Godwin. So I am now more thankful for the elite tight end duo since I know there's a flex spot in the Yappy, and we couldn't get both their player scores in the same week. But boy, do we ever need Kyle Pitts to break out.
Yeah, I am going to require Arthur Smith to occasionally throw the ball inside the 20-yard line. That would be a good thing.
And we remember the general vibe of the last team we drafted. Like, I don't remember who we had on it, but I'm curious to see if we like that one or this one better.
Well, this is a crazy one. I mean, Pats is a rock solid team. I think this one could look really good or end up being one of the worst teams in this entire tournament.
Yours is more best ball-y. You're like more of like you actually focused on trying to build a best ball team. Where I did like the horrible. Like I just took like good players, which we know that's bad.
How dare you?
I'm trying to pull up my team that I tried. So I took Jalen Hurts, Bryce Young, Travis Etienne, Aaron Jones, Elijah Mitchell, Kenny Gainwell, Jerome Ford, AJ Brown, Christian Watson, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks. Oh my God. Elijah Moore, Johnny Mingo, Adam Thielen, Rondale Moore. Man, oh man, that had to be a crowd pick. And then Dallas Goedert, Irv Smith, and Zach Ertz. I remember we were chasing some sort of stack with Zach Ertz at the end. I think it was a correlation or whatever.
It was the week 7. It's also Cardinals versus.
That's why we have. Eagles. That's why we have Rondale too.
Yeah. I like that team. You know what? I like that team.
It's an okay team.
It's curious that you ended up with Rondale Moore. You're supposedly a Rondale Moore hater, yet he's on your team.
It is quite curious. I spent the whole draft condemning the Rondale Moore pick.
Sounds like a hypocrite to me.
He's my last receiver. I will say that. He was who we picked last. I think yours, he was like your number 3 receiver.
You know, let's relax. It's like he's like my wide receiver.
No, you're thinking of Darnell Mooney. That's our 3rd receiver.
Listen, all I want now all I want is for Mooney to go off this year. Hear me.
I actually do too for my dynasty team.
What if they trade DJ Moore again? Has anyone thought of this?
What if the Panthers wanted DJ Moore back?
People are saying they're looking very powerfully into this to reacquiring DJ Moore.
What if they said, "Well, wait a second, you're actually really good. We just noticed. So could you come back?"
So here's the deal. I drafted a team. Denny drafted a team. We're going to draft again in July. The plan is I haven't told this person that is the plan. We do plan on bringing in Patrick Crane for the next one of these we do. So we're going to have the $2 million man himself come tell us how to draft a best ball team in July. But yeah, we like taking a monthly stab at it. And ADPs have changed. We've gotten some OTAs and some mini camps since I drafted. So the scene has changed, even though nothing has actually happened.
Hey, by the time Crane comes on, Darnell Mooney's going to be, what, a 6th, 7th round pick?
It's true. All because of Crane. He'll steam him up for us. Get him steamed, Crane, so it doesn't look like it was an overdraft by Mr. Denny. But any final thoughts from Kyle or Denny?
Justin Fields, we had a blurb on him the other day saying that he has the, quote, foundation to make a dramatic improvement as a passer. I hope that comes to fruition.
Boy, same with me.
Check out my best ball rankings that I just posted, and maybe you won't find yourself taking Darnell Mooney 35 picks ahead of ADP.
Really, dude.
The number next time I'll say we took him 40 ahead of ADP, and I'll say we took him 50.
Yeah,
really do check out Kyle's best ball rankings. Check out all of our team preview series. I have the Denver Broncos going up on Friday, June 23rd. Denny, do you have any non-team preview articles? I know you were working on something.
Yeah, I have a piece published just the other day on why I am drafting boring running backs in throughout this summer.
And you did actually take Brian Robinson. You did not time out into him, so you're putting your money where your mouth is.
That's right. I'm in.
So yeah, thank you. We hope you had fun joining us. It was a lot of fun, and those are always pretty crazy to do live on the air. So thank you to Denny for keeping his head and drafting us an 18-man best ball team. Thank you to Kyle for his analysis. Thank you to myself for hosting the show. So for Denny, for Kyle, I'm Pat. We will be back next week. We are beginning our division team preview series with the AFC South on Monday. Look forward to some special guests.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.